playing his Invoker as well, so I'm excited to see what he can do in that mid lane. Much better laning stage for him. And I think they've just got a relatively easy draft to kind of execute, right? Whereas for the side of CDUB, they need to have this Wraith King into a position where he's got some farm, whether it be a fast build, whether it goes Radiance build, and they need to try and enable things like the Ember Spirit as well as their Doom. So I'm going to have to pick the cut this time around just out of ease of execution.
Yeah, at least the the one thing we do spy early is Sadman. He's got the Meteor Hammer already queued up. I know our... one of our observers, PTP, is a big enjoyer. I don't know if Eosin, who's doing our camera work today, is an enjoyer of the Meteor Hammer, but we'll see if he starts dragging them from the inventories and dropping them on top of heroes. Then we certify that he is a Meteor Hammer enjoyer. Hello! Satma is going to get tossed in by Sanctified. Chill walks in, tosses him out. First blood again for CDUB, and this time, did they smell the smoke? Mark only gave one voice line out of that, so...
Yeah, so only Mark this time around was sniffing for the smoke. So maybe they've cooled the jets on a bit of the trolling, and they really want to try and get this dub this time around. But again, another first blood going the way here of CDUB. So they really do abuse teams trying to find that little bit of extra vision. They get nice little mid ward here as well in the middle lane. So maybe we might be able to see some D wards coming their way. But losing High Shaggy this time around is not what you want. Losing your Evoker early on, being able to get a little bit of that golden experience going to the rest of your cores is always nice. But I think this time around, he should have a relatively better time in this lane.
See a lot of early Wraith bans for this Drow Ranger as well. I wouldn't be too surprised if Doom also decides to pick up one or at least two. One he does have queued up, maybe a second, just to make sure that you're not going to get out-harassed by this Drow Ranger in the lane. You're still going to come up strong with a lot of farm. That's one of the Doom's perks. You can also opt to go for the Midas if you feel like you want to push even more net worth on the side, play for the late game. Kind of enabling this Wraith King a bit more as well, I guess. But you know, like you said, it's not the be-all end-all. So you don't really want to favor yourself going into like super late game versus the lineup that the Cut has. But I think neither of these teams actually has like the actual better late game draft. Of course, like some of the damage is heavily going to get mitigated with all that extra armor, considering you have playing an Agi core. But then again, it's like, well, we've got Doom. Like, Doom is really, really good in the late game. So I guess we're just looking at some heavy mid-game timings. Really play for the item timings that you have. Potentially the level 2 ults are going to be like the big key playmakers this game.
Yeah, just trying to hit the timings, I think, is the key point here for both these teams, right? Like the Drow Ranger wants to try and build up to those first couple of items. She wants to move into a lot of those towers and really start to abuse her spacing. And bottom side, okay, I thought that Isla was going to potentially go down there. Maybe it's Sanctified.
Jube, he's got no glimpse, but the creeps are actually blocking him a bit. He did have minus 40 movement speed compared to the Tiny because of the early boots pickup, so he will get to walk back to base. That does leave the Doom alone and without any real resources here.
Yeah,
and have to soak up passive XP. Off lane though, Duster in trouble, and that is actually going to be the Cut finding a kill. Double King can't really fight back too much with this Wraith King, so Centaur, Hoodwink enjoying themselves the first kill.
Yeah, it's always hard with Wraith King if you go Wraith Fire Blast level 1. It's very small
gets
damage.
Glimpse back as well. Scourge and Jube high on the heels of this Doom. And Sanctified, he only just got back. Bit too early.
This offlane is a little rough, and this is why I was leaning towards the cut for their draft. I think this Drow Ranger kind of solidifies their lane really, really well.
Yep. Skeletons doing work. Double King with the help of Duster and the dots and the slows. They find themselves the Centaur. Yeah, both offlaners not having too much of a great time right now. Centaur maybe a little bit better, but Doom just 5 last hits. Double melee offlane versus 2 range heroes. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's the thing of nightmares, right? This is when you walk into a pub and you realize that your position 4 is also melee, and you're like, oh, I'm playing as a Drow Ranger. This is going to be awesome. I think the biggest thing for...
thought you were going like you walk into a pub and you're the only Aussie in there. It's like...
No, that's the best time because that's when everybody buys you beers.
That's
all right. Bigger brain.
That is true. So, okay, that's why Mike is so liked. Huh?
Yeah, anything for Mike to get a little bit of clout, that's definitely what he would chase. But when it comes to both these offlaners, I think you're much more happy if like your Centaur is on even footing with the Doom, right? Because Centaur doesn't need as much as what the Doom does. Like I've seen a whole lot of Dooms recently just go for the Midas into Blink BKB kind of build. So I wouldn't see too much deviation from Isla this time around. Whereas Italiano Gangstar just kind of has to build Vanguard Blink, and then that's literally his job done. He's just going to press Stampede whenever his Drow or his Invoker gets into some danger. He's able to link up with his Invoker in the mid lane as well. He's going to get this Meteor Hammer early on, and then that just means it's just going to be kill central for them.
Yep. Attempting to harass Jube a little bit here. Avalanche does connect onto both of them. Isla gets a few punches in, but at the same time, Scourge McDuck, he's just relentless with the harass onto this Doom. Jube trying to find an angle as well for the glimpse, but he will take down Sanctified takes down Jube's courier. Looked like the Tiny courier was also making a move, but no. Same top lane, B-God also pretty low on HP. Same thing with Double King Centaur, establishing some dominance. Double Ring of Protection, 28 CS, almost as a Vanguard ready. Enjoying his lane.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get to a point once this Vanguard comes up that Double King's really not going to be able to do much to him. They can try and harass him down with things like the dual breath. Oh, Jube finds Isla. Even mid lane.
Yeah, things are just getting turned out for the worse, but I mean, at least they get something with this rotation as Sanctify kind of sacks the Doom in the lane to help out Mark get a kill, and Mark hits level 6 now. So it's a trade, but is it a good trade? Like, I feel like it is because it is benefiting the Ember Spirit. We always kind of neglect our side lanes, like, our offlaner died, that's all right. But it feels like so many plays are actually made from the side lanes. Like, if mid goes well, you can punish the side lanes. But if the side lanes are going well, you're having a big scuffle in the mid lane. And then on these 1v1s, it feels like the offlaner or the carry just has a better advantage over the other in that situation. So what do you think about that? Like when you're trading off another core and simultaneously that guy sacked gets a kill somewhere else. Well, if they can kill the Invoker now with the help of Sanctified, then it will pay off. But they need to make it happen. He's still got a DD rune, turns Invis as well. Sentries placed down, double sentries placed down even, and they're going to lose all their wards. They're going to lose all their heroes by the looks of it as well. Tiny cannot toss him away, and Tiny dead. Observer ward gone, sentry gone, and a second sentry gone. Everything lost. Courier dead. Oh my, that is so costly.
Yeah, I think both these teams understand. Oh no.
Now they're support.
Shaggy.
The next challenger approaches. All right, this one's going to work out.
Okay, it didn't matter. I was going to say maybe they get away from the fact that Mark missed his chains there on the Invoker, but you can see that both these teams understand that this mid lane is so important. I think it's where CDUB are going to get a lot of their wins throughout Div 2 is kind of playing off the back of Mark. They pick his hero really, really early, a hero that he's very, very comfortable on. They put a lot of emphasis on his lane. This time around, they put the Tiny onto the 4, so Sanctified can make these rotations. And they're really just trying to get him to have another good game where he had a really, really good game number 1. Wasn't able to pull out the dub for them. So it seems like from what I can see here with CDUB, they're really putting a lot of their emphasis towards this mid lane. And the cut are starting to respect that, right? Making Jube make the rotation towards the mid lane. They bring out B-God as well and just leave these 1v1s.
Yeah, they just kind of, they help the Centaur enough kind of at this point that he can just continue farming in this lane. I don't think they really need B-God here, to be honest. Maybe he's just doing some stacking here for Italiano Gangstar, but he's making sure Centaur is going to have a phenomenal game. That tower is going to be falling very fast. He can continue pressuring this Wraith King. Wraith King's not going to do anything to you. So they're getting one lane that is having a fantastic start at least. The Drow is doing pretty good so far, also beating her lane. And now this mid lane matchup where the Invoker is struggling. So CDUB getting a dub out of the mid lane at least. They're losing 2 lanes currently. This is the one that they need to make work.
I was going to say, if they lose Mark, that could be bad. But they found Jube again.
Oh, they did just get the Invoker and Mark. Okay, there's a Remnant in for the kill. He's just teleporting back home for regeneration. Duster's just going to wait here for the bottle refill.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is not only are they getting Mark off to a very, very good start, they're also slowing down this Meteor Hammer timing coming in from Sadman. That's usually the big timing that you want to see, right? Like you hit towards this level 6, you've got the 3 levels in the Quas and the Wex, and you're able to just kind of throw out a tornado into a a Cold Snap and a Meteor Hammer combination, that means you can basically kill almost anyone.
And they're going to dive Scourge McDuck down in the bottom lane as well. Drow trying to turn around with the multi-shot. TP coming in as well from the Hoodwink, but they've already lost the Drow. And Jube looking for the glimpse here, but nobody to glimpse right now. Mark just applying the pressure onto Disruptor. Only 1 point in Flame Guard, but Slate is maxed out. Tiny taking some damage. Creeps under the tower though, and Mark will get himself a double. Potentially. No TP available, actually, so he can't go back home and return. Otherwise, that would also mean that they could just dive this Hoodwink.
Yeah, it was a nifty little dodge with a side of fist on the glimpse. Just be able to stay on top of the Disruptor. Nice. He got the chains down as well. So, I mean, Mark is having a phenomenal start to this game, and he needs to keep this pressure up.
Mark, Duster surrounding the Invoker. Oh my goodness. Hi, Shaggy. Already died 4 times, and that's going to be number 5 on Ember Spirit 503.
Yeah, this is rough. I was expecting the Invoker lane to go much better, because usually you're able to just, you know, kind of out-regen him with a lot of your cross regen. You throw out the Tornadoes and the Cold Snap, and it makes it a little bit annoying for the Ember, but it seems like Mark is just so well versed in this matchup that he's a-okay with everything that's going on. And I think Sanctified as well as Duster have done a really, really good job of just kind of being in his lane. And the fact that they have self-sustaining offlane, side laners, right? Like the Wraith King and the Doom, they're more than happy to have these 1v1s. So just means they can put their emphasis into the Ember.
This Invoker just went straight up Meteor Hammer without brown boots, but does it pay off here? Tornado, Meteor Hammer coming out from the skies. Wraith King, he's going to drop soon. He still has Reincarnation, so he's going to get the chance to fight back, but that's a Vanguard Centaur. They have to fight against. Doom will be used, but he does get the Steam Stampede off just in time, and he's got a lot of regeneration to work with. But the thing is, Scorched Earth is still ticking, and Isla will find the kill. He even tries to deny the Centaur, but it doesn't work out for the Invoker. So rotation for losing a hero.
That was oh so close. The EMP wasn't able to hit in time, so the Reincarnate went off before the EMP sucked all his mana away. Still had decent amount of stick charges as well, and now he makes a rotation towards bottom. They get the kill there on the Scrooge McDuck, and I mean, we saw the same thing happen Panther in game number 1, so I'm not counting out the cut just yet. But it is looking pretty dicey, especially with the fact that Double King has almost 90 CS at 11 minutes in. He is a big old boy.
It's definitely a very good farm pace. And Jube to fall in the mid lane. Sanctified to pick up that one. He's 800 gold from picking up a Blink Dagger on this Tiny. So CDUB, they're approaching a very good timing here on this team. Maybe even faster than what they were expecting at the start of the game. Now that they have 12 kills already being picked up. Satman. Alright, Shanky gets the stun on the tower. Doom, he's gonna walk to his death. Not entirely sure what the plan was there, but Smoke Gang right behind him didn't make it in time.
Yeah, this is kind of what we need Sandman to do, right? Like, he just needs to constantly be permanently rotating here with the Meteor Hammer and the Tornado. You can just send the Centaur to whatever lane that you see Double King in. He's able to hold the tower for a long time and even push it out himself. And now it's going to be on CDUB to make their rotations with Mark as well as their 2 supports to see what they can get. And Scrooge McDuck is going to try and stay as far away from Double King and the rest of CDUB as he possibly can. But this is kind of one of the issues with Drow is you can get to this point where you just need these, next couple of 10 minutes to really come back into this game.
Still a game that can be salvaged. Invoker also going for a comeback. Midas as they're finishing off Duster in the river. Tornado will finish off the job, so that is a streak going for the Invoker. A bit of extra gold towards that Midas. Doom also already has his, so Hyla is going to be able to bounce back into this game in no time. Bottom lane, though, Centaur, that's a very difficult target to kill, by the way. He's already picked up a Hood of Defiance as well, so they're just going to leave him. However,
Hood and Vanguard.
Walked into a bit of a gank squad on the other side. It's Begot and Jube. The support's doing work once again, and the Invoker finds a kill with a Tornado. That's another killing streak that he gets under his name, and he just picked up 1,000 gold inside a minute.
Yeah, and Scrooge gets away from the top gank as well. Oh man, I've seen this story before.
All right, it is the sequel.
Yeah, it's I mean, to be fair, from Mark, probably not expecting the two supports to be holding hands in the jungle there. But just the way that the Cut are able to really abuse any of the missteps that are coming out from CDUB is a really good showing from them. The fact that they have 2 games in a row being kind of run over in the first 10 minutes, and they're able to pull this one back. The real question is how fast can they farm on something like the Drow Ranger here, and how much effort can the Invoker put in?
Can't quite get the connection onto the Invoker, but he gets to turn it around. Bit of a combo onto the Tiny. Mana has been completely burnt out, and they do get to disengage on the side of the Cut. CDUB also not willing to dive towards the high ground, leaving the fight as it is. And that kind of settled things down for the moment. Wraith King still holding onto the top place in net worth, which is 124 CS, almost 10 CS per minute pace, going for the Desolator with Armlet, and soon into the Blink Dagger as well. Tiny's already finished his.
Yeah, he's going for this kind of like a one-shot the supports kind of build. Like if he blinks on top of the Disruptor with Armlet as well as Deso, it's going to be some big crits. One of the issues with dealing with these towers so fast... Oh no.
Well, this is going to be a full commitment to take down the Centaur. Stampede in 2 seconds. He's going to get a lot of backup here. They're going to turn things around. Wraith King, no mana for his ult right now. He's going to have to try and survive a bit longer. He will take down Italiano Gangster, but he will fall as well. And they do get that Meteor Hammer to connect onto Duster. Still throwing in dots onto the Invoker, onto Jubei. Can't quite finish them off, though, and B-God get the Bushwhack onto 2. Ice Path thrown out just for good measure, but Sanctified. Nowhere to go, really. Does get the blink out, but Jubei sees him, glimpses him back, and he already got to the fountain. He got the rejuvenation buff, but it won't save him here.
Yeah, just trying to dive on a Centaur. It was the same issue they had in the previous game where they tried to dive on the Dragonite a few times. It just takes you so long to deal with the hero that the rotations, all they have to do is come in at a relatively medium pace from the Cut, and they're able to turn it around with 3 kills of their own. Yes, they do deal with the Centaur, but you can see the reason why you pick Invoker into the Wraith King. It is very, very hard for you to try and play around the mana pool that you have. Like 180 mana, like you throw out, like if you're using Vampiric Spirit basically off cooldown, it is so hard for you to keep reincarnations up. So I'd imagine that Double King is going to have to fall back to a Shard, but maybe it could be at a point where they've lost a fight or two off the back of not having reincarnation. So maybe it might be better.
And it's not super optimal to have to buy the Shard when you're really looking to get it from the second row shot. So like, it's a bit of a desperation thing, but it's also going to allow you to play the game. So it's like, well, it's a worthwhile investment.
And especially because Isla now with this Hand of Midas is going to get a very, very early BKB, so you might lose out.
Interesting offlane battle in the top lane. They've got Jubei as well. They should have the damage to take down the Doom. Does get glimpsed around, takes the full Stampede damage as well from the Centaur. So Jubei for the kill, and a lot of backup here. Instant smoke. This is what I like to see. You rotated more than 2 heroes to the one of the side lanes, and you have to get to the next place as fast as possible. Instant smoke towards mid, potentially even towards your own jungle to find a kill, or even the triangle. They're going to get popped here. They know something is up, and they're going to find a second kill thanks to it as well. They're going to miss out on the stun, but it doesn't matter. They've got the damage to close it out.
Yeah, beautiful more than enough damage, more than enough follow-up as well from the Cut. They bring 5 heroes. Okay, well, he's dead.
Yeet.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens. Sometimes you walk in front of a Wraith King and he just has Mortal Strike up and you just die. So that could be the tale of Jubei's game for the remainder, but it's all about what the Cut can do around this Wraith King.
Oh man, it's always the Lions, the Disruptors. You always just get one shot that's like, the fight's about to start, smokes are popping or whatever. The first guy you see, the support, he's blinked on top of you, he stuns you, and he smacks you to death.
Yeah. So the famous clip from Sunsfan and Syndrome where the Wraith King one-shot the Lion. It was at a major or something like that. And literally the Lion went from like 1800 HP to 0 in one shot, and it was the greatest thing ever. But
Jubei's putting some very interesting chat into old chat there, but trying to influence some viewers, I guess.
All I can understand is Hatsune Miku, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah. I probably don't want to know what the last part is. What the last part says, but moving
Surely
onwards.
there's some connoisseurs in chat right now that'll let
Oh,
us know.
yeah. And there's definitely a lot of enjoyers there. 5K lead for CDUB, but how long can they hold on to it? Because the Cut, they're on a roll right now. Smoking up with 3. And heading towards the side of CDUB's jungle. The triangle will be contested. Nobody there, though. Jakiro in the river. Double King. He was pretty close. He's on the other direction. Oh, just the courier reveals him. Okay, they know exactly where he is now. Courier comes back in, and they know where he is. The stun comes out. The avalanche to interrupt, and Sanctified toss is disrupted by some time, but the static storm. They will get to keep the Wraith King on the spot. They've got backup coming in. Invoker coming in as well from the side, but the tornado onto 2. Multi-shot connecting as well. Wraith King, he's got the mana for the reincarnation. And Scourge McDuck, he's gonna get slowed up, but he got the Hurricane Pike to move into safety. Jube's gonna fall. Sanctified jumping in as well to find another one, and the Gangstar goes for the beautiful stun, but Isla will have to doom him instead, and the Hoodwink gets to walk away with the Bushwhack onto 3. Meatball coming in as well to Mark, and Mark dropping pretty low on HP. They will take down the Italiano Gangstar, and Scourge McDuck, you gotta keep on the move. They've also got the Invoker, bit of trouble. Tornado is ready, Meterham is ready. 1, 2, 3, 3 heroes, Hammer coming down, connection comes out, Isla will fall, Mark to drop as well, Double King to die. It's a full-on team wipe if they can get this Wraith King as well, as they did get themselves Duster. Cold Snap is there, Invoker trying to get close enough to get a couple more connections. He's got no blink, he's trying to make a run for it. Begon Sharpshooter, there's the Sunstrike as well, trying to get extra vision, and it almost hits, but Double King gets to live, and Sanctified snipes Begon on the side. He's gonna get glimpsed back. Wraith King gets to see another day. What a chase, but they can't quite close him out. He comes back in. Oh, no. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. The tiny mana completely burnt out, but Invoker can't do much to impact the situation anymore. And Jube, he's got Static Storm already up by the time this fight's over.
Oh, what a long, drawn-out fight. I thought you can see that the Cut understand that they need to make sure that they don't get baited into a reincarnation fight. And it's only going to get easier for CDUB to be able to play around their reincarnation once this Wraith King gets his BKB and his Blink Dagger, because he's going to be one that's going to be able to set his positioning. So it's going to get harder and harder for the Cut to try and play around that, but that's when they're going to start getting a lot more of these items. You can just see how much damage he does to a Centaur with a Vanguard, right? Like, he almost half HPs him with 1 crit.
They just smoked under vision. They know exactly what's happening, and Sanctified, he's going to interrupt 3 of them. He will give us life away, but that allows the Wraith King to back out.
What can you do, man?
Jube, he's got 1 ward with him. He could put some vision down, but they already have 1 here in the triangle. They're happy with what they have so far. But yeah, at least they got information with the smoke. Still give away a hero, but support for us.
Yeah, they keep their cause safe, right? Which is the important part. They've got a Midas on their Doom. He's got Blink BKB. They've got BKB up here now on Mark as well. They're still defending their tier 1 towers, so they haven't really lost much. They lose like a set of Ancients, and that's like kind of really it. The Cut haven't been able to put their their thumbprint on the map just yet, because they're the ones that are still in recovery mode. They're still kind of a little bit behind. They are going to be able to kite out a lot of these team fights with things like the Tornado and the Meatballs and all that kind of stuff from the Invoker, but until it gets to a point where they're starting to feel comfortable with their net worth lead, then it's still going to be CDUB who will have the aggression ticket.
Yep. And they walk into the Centaur. That's a good start for the fight. If they can blow him up, he's very low on HP right now. Tornado coming on the side, gonna hit Duster. Multi-shot to keep them distanced away. The Force Staff comes out, but is not gonna be able to save his life. However, offlane for support, CDUB. They could keep on going. Well, right now it feels like their tools might be lacking because they don't have the Ice Path right now. They don't want to take another choke point fight. They've already ran into Begon and Jube a couple times. Oh, the Isla? Whoops.
Just checking to see if it works. Maybe he thought it was his Midas. So they 100% saw that too. So it's not like one of the ones where...
man, unlucky.
Yeah, where you've seen it in the past where you pop the BKB in the jungle and the enemy team doesn't know. But yeah, sometimes you just get unlucky with your hotkeys being in the wrong spots.
Yeah. Wanted to post a voice line instead, but pop BKB.
Hate when I do that.
Happens to the best of us. Now Wraith King also has his BKB. That's up to 9 seconds, so Very useful at this stage of the game.
Especially when he's
tower. Yep.
When his main issue in these team fights is kind of just getting Tornado EMP'd. So he's able to just BKB and walk through that and, you know, collect one or two of these heroes. Like, if he gets close to Jubei or B-God, he will kill them. And they've got a lot of stun and a lot of initiation for CDUB to be able to enable that. But
yep, it's going to be a walk in the park.
He's dead.
Very easy delete. Sunstrike with the sharpshooter. Plenty of damage. Scourge McDuck, though, spotted in mid, but his position is really good. He's going to see the Tiny coming a mile away. So he will take down the tower. Lag pause has been called. So a bit of a breather. 19-18, somewhat very even game. When you consider that both of these teams, they have their good scaling, they have their good timers. This Wraith King can still do a hell of a lot more in this game. I feel like this Wraith King also itemization is so crucial in this hero. Like Drow, when you think about it, is kind of straightforward. You just need to build up damage and hope that your front line holds. But Wraith King at the same time is a piece of your front line. So you need to have a mixture of mobility, potentially a hero in your team that has a save, and you got to itemize that way, right? You need damage, but you also got to build stats above damage, while Drow can just focus more on damage above stats.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it's so important when you're playing Wraith King as well to be able to hit the timings that you create for yourself. Like this Armlet Deso timing, they've done a really, really good job at shutting down a lot of the map. They've taken the tier 1 tower in mid and bottom and be able to take the tier 2 tower as well off the back of the Wraith King, just kind of gobbling up this entire Radiant jungle. So they got a few fights off the back of it as well, but now that he's hit the BKB, it's kind of like prime time fighting, right? Like you've got the level 2 reincarnation, you've got your Deso, your BKB up online, so he's more than ready and more than happy to get these fights going. Whereas for the side of the Drow, she's always just constantly going to be happy to farm and then take some objectives whenever she feels like it, because at every point in the game, you know, once she's gotten one or two of her items, see the Ag Shard plus the Hurricane Pike, like you're more than happy to fight or farm. So I want to see CDUB get something done here with Double King's BKB.
Oh, they'd love to, but there's also a counter smoke. Oh, they do have the Ember flying through, and Scourge McDuck, he gets his beak. You've never got the Doom. Oh, still a cooldown for 4 seconds. No. Oh, no. Oh, that was the big game changer. Italiano Gangstar with the 2-man stun. Drow still getting in trouble. Here's Mark's going to be following all the way through. Right clicks and the connections will be there. Didn't even need the Doom for the kill in the end. Mark gonna get tossed back, Double King around him. They've got the Sunstrike sharing the damage with the Jakiro. He will live a bit longer. Jubei already taken down as well for the fight. And the Italiano Gangster about to melt as well. Double King crits him to death. This Wraith King starting to be a real issue. 7-1-3 CDUB straight to the Roche pit they march.
Yeah, it's going to be super, super easy for them to walk into this pit and be able to take it down. And I think CDUB just did a really, really good job at understanding their timings, right? Like the Wraith King with BKB is so much far and away stronger than what the Drow is right now with her own BKB, because the Drow is the one that needs to have this frontliner for her, and if you're the ones that are walking forward and getting this initiation, then you're always going to be able to catch this Drow out. There was a beautiful avalanche toss coming in from Sanctified as well, caught the Drow and the Disruptor lacking, and that just means that CDUB were able to walk over that fight, didn't even have to use Reincarnation. And now with an Aegis in their hand as well, Mark is going to be completely untouchable in these fights with his own BKB. And I'm really just trying to look towards the impact of this Invoker. I understand the pick and I understand the reason why. It was a good lane against the Ember. It goes well into the Wraith King. But I've seen this time and time again from these Invokers. You go like this Meteor Hammer Midas build and you never become that threat on the map. I don't know if it's Invoker's power spike as a hero or, you know, people have just gotten better against playing against Invoker, but it has been a long time since I've seen an Invoker just take over a map.
Certainly has. I think it's more down to the Exhort Invokers, if they're able to at least play early when you have so much damage that you're kind of hard to contest with. But I believe the hero is definitely in a very interesting place, right? I feel like they haven't done too many changes to it, but everything else is revolving around the Invoker. But big fight potentially happening here as they take down Jubei. BKB already used up on Double King, forcing out Italiano Gangstar and Scourge McDuck on the run. Meanwhile, in the tier 2 tower, there's Duster versus B-God. Who's going to win this fight? Well, the Bushwhack certainly is going to clean that one out. Force Staff wasn't cooldown, so he couldn't cut down the tree and maybe save Duster's life, but a trade for 1 for 1. If
Yeah,
only
and
he
I
had a
think-
quelling blade.
Yeah, I think the issue for Big God just there is sad, man. You could see that he didn't want to overcommit because he knew it was a T2 tower, so he didn't want to lose his life. And I think the issue with Invoker is maybe just his numbers are bad. Like maybe just some of the damage numbers, maybe some of the mana cost, maybe some of the cooldowns for his spells can get changed. But I'm definitely not advocating for Invoker to be first phase pick or ban. But I definitely do feel like the hero needs a little bit of love considering the skill ceiling that he does have. But either way, CDUB, they're going to try and abuse the timing that they have once again.
Invoker also just finished BKB, so a big defensive tool on the side of the cut. They're pretty deep into the lane. Sama just deciding to stay in the trees, reveals himself with a meteor. But CDUB still hunting for somebody. Potentially we're hoping that they might find a straggler just running around the lanes and catch them. Just not lucky.
Yeah, just try and find some of these split pushes and try and punish them, because once again, if they get a pick, then it's going to be very, very hard for the cut to try and fight. And I think CDUB understand that it's as soon as this turns into a 4v5, it gets very, very hard for them.
Well, Doom has just finished an Octarine Core. I always love to see an offlaner with this item, no matter what the hero, especially the cooldown dependent ones. We talk about like the Enigmas, the Dooms, the Death Prophets. Always getting to see Octarine Core is nice, especially since the build-up is from Aetherlands, where you get that extra blink range. Okay.
Well, I think he's dead.
Centaur, okay, Duster's also dead, but yes, Italiano Gangstar he's far from home.
Yep. He was cutting some creep waves, and it seems like
double king here. He's all by himself. Mark also showing himself, but they get the stun on the Hoodwink. And here they go, trying to clean him out. Jump onto the backline for Mark. Jube, he's already used Static Storm, and Wraith King, he's on the run with his BKB popped on Mark, taking a heavy amount of damage from Scourge McDuck. So some vision. The Sunstruck vision for the glimpse, but he got sent into two different spots. Mark will get away. Still 1 minute, 10 seconds with that Aegis. No BKB for Double King.
Yeah, that was almost going to be a pretty dicey fight there for CDUB. And once again, the cut trying to punish the mistakes that we're seeing coming out of CDUB. But either way, they're able to get out unscathed. And you can just see how hard it is for them to deal with the Wraith King as well as the
Haste Rune stolen, but Sanctified with a blink in the root's going to be connecting as well. Sadman has to use his BKB. Bushwhack onto 2. And Scourge McDuck getting some free hits in. They're going to get jumped by the Doom as well, but the Doom, he gets the stun out. The BKB used as well, trying to force Beacon away from the fight. And Drow still in the middle. The Wraith King is about to draw for the first time. Mark trying to close in the gap. Mark's about to die and will lose the Aegis. They lose the Reincarnation. Isla trying to keep him away. Dalion a Gangstar with the stun connecting onto the Wraith King, but it won't connect onto Mark at all. Mark still fighting against the Centaur. Here comes Duster as well for the rescue. Asama, he does get himself the Cold Snap onto Isla, keeps him away. Ember going in for the Remnant Jump. Invoker blinking away and keeping the distance, able to stay safe. But CDUB, yet another victory under their belts.
Yeah, it was an interesting fight for them. They got caught out with a nice little bushwhack coming in from B-God. They weren't able to capitalize all too much on it, and this is kind of the issue with the Invoker, right? He's gotten to a point now where he doesn't really deal all that much damage. It really does rely on him kind of hitting some combos, and he hasn't been able to find like Duster in the back lines. Maybe he's been able to find Sanctified here and there, but it's just everybody else for the side of CDUB are more than happy to play around this Invoker, right? Like they've got 3 BKBs, they just run at him, they burn him down, he goes half HP, he has to pop his own BKB. And then it's all about Scrooge McDuck. And if they ever find glimpses of this Drow in the backline, you just jump on top of her, and then basically all the damage from the cut is gone. And it just means that these BKBs can reign supreme. So they're going to try and get something done with the smoke here. Maybe they can find Double King.
He is kind of alone. They're very spread on the side of CDUB, so this triangle is not actually the safest place to be in right now. They see Mark. Mark is probably even better of a kill compared to the Wraith King. And there we go, the double stuns. They've got the full combination onto the Ember Spirit. Still gets his BKB off. There was a regen root as well for him to take, but he didn't get it. It's still down. Beagle takes it away. Italiano Gangstar to fall. Invoker with his BKB still on the run, trying to get some havoc dealt, but not going to be able to. They did finally get the kill on Mark, but they're going to lose Scourge McDuck as well. Isla for the kill. Jube at a fall next. Double King waiting for the slap and crits him down to death. Slices Disruptor in half.
Yeah, it's just all too hard when it becomes very one-dimensional for a team to win a team fight, right? Like we've seen multiple times where you get into single core combinations, and it's just so easy for Isla to walk into the backline, doom out the Drow. They literally left Scrooge McDuck to be, right? Like they just doomed him up, kept somebody on top of him, and then he did literally nothing for the rest of the fight, and it was just CDUB just being able to be better, faster, stronger this game, and it looks like we're going to be going to game number 3.
Certainly does. Lane of Rax at least a fall, and they've caught the Invoker as well. Subman to blow up here the arms of Double King and Isla. Saliana Gangsta with another Blink Stun onto the Wraith King. They will get the reincarnation out of the way. But still, the Centaur, as tanky as he is, they just don't have the damage to fight back. Nothing to deal with. The Force Staff save. Macro Pyre thrown down onto the ground. Sanctified blinks in for the kill. Surely, that is the end for the cut here. Unless they get something done with this Drow in 3 seconds, but I think there's just too many tools to fight against.
Yeah, it's very, very hard for them to try and win this fight. There's multiple Blink Daggers for the Drow to deal with. They haven't been able to deal with the supports either. Mark's got a BKB and an Aghanim Scepter. Like, it is very, very hard. Maybe if they can catch out a timing here without the Red King having Reincarnate, but I mean, that would have to be a pretty big mistake coming in from Double King to not play around with that. So they're just going to lose more racks. Maybe with the respawns coming in, that CDUB are more than happy to fall back. They've got Roche coming up soon. Duster has a BKB?
Yeah, I just realized the same
What?
thing. He's got a BKB as well as Jakiro. Like, okay.
All right, dude. It was also funny that he popped his BKB after he got glimpsed, which I think was funny. But,
well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The cut, I think they've got one more fight in them. It's the one that has to work as well. Smoke has been bought by the Hoodwink. And Shadowblade also popped on the Drow. Crystallis, Hurricane Pike, Shadowblade. That's what you're going to have to live with. He's very close to Silver Edge as well, which would help. But they're going to have to fight without it.
They need a really good initiation here.
As an Indus Rune. Okay, Drow's been spotted. They know everything now. Misses the Gust. Gets a bit of damage out. Misses the Bushwhack as well. Wraith King jumping in on the Invoker. Subman very low on HP. B-God already down. Comes in with a buyback. Remnant. Statics. Oh, Jube. Preemptive.
Okay. He's kind of just protecting himself, so
yeah,
I respect that from Jube. But again, it's just, you can see that all it takes is that CDUB and the cut. If the cut aren't going front to back, so if they're not going like kind of head on with each other, they're in a bad position.
Yep.
And they really need to try and find a spot. Oh no.
He did.
Yeah. And it's like, that's kind of just the tale of this game is, I don't know if Invoker's a hero this patch currently. I think he's relatively weak. And the way that Mark played is very, very good too. Speaking of Mark.
Yeah. Speak of the devil indeed. BKB used, disengage.
But yeah, just circling back to my point about the Invoker, I like the pick. I just think that he's weak, and I'm not quite sure if there's anything else that you can really kind of pick that would have given you what the Invoker gives you to.
It's another BKB charge used up. This time the Doom Invoker coming in with a buyback. Is this the last fight that they could potentially score? Wraith King taking some heavy hits. Scourge is doing a lot of damage. Will be able to get the first life away. Still a BKB up on this Wraith King. He won't get hit by the Meteor Hammer from the Invoker. Not the Meteor Hammer, the Meatball instead. And Sunstrike to give some vision. And there's the glimpse, and we've seen this before. Invoker dodges the Ice Path as well. Wraith King almost about to drop a Scourge McDuck. He's not getting enough damage, but might just be sufficient. They take down one. Can they take down more? Multi-shot as well, connecting on Duster and Sanctified. Bushwhack coming out as well. Italiano Gangstar really trying his hardest here. The backline stunning too. Sodman gets another tornado, does connect. They take down Duster. The cut still holding. The cut's still holding for now, but they've lost their top lane of racks, have crumbled completely. There's a massive army of creeps that just destroyed that. So it's a 3 or 4 kill setup that they get for themselves and lose a lane of racks.
Yeah, I think it was a really good demonstration of what happens when they cut to get the fight they want, right? Completely. Scrooge played that perfectly well, right? He waited until the moment that he knew where the Ember, the Wraith King, and the Doom were going to be. He saw them in front of him, knew that he was able to play just with the heroes that were going to be in front of him. It wasn't going to be anywhere from the back. Mark came in to try and get a Sleight of Fist Searing Chains combo, but at that point, I think the Drow had done too much damage, so... We're going to see a Roche go their way as well. We will see a Shard probably come up for Italiano Gangstar. Maybe you might see it on the Disruptor to try and give the Drow a little bit of extra move speed in these fights, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough. But now they get an Aegis. Now they get a Shard. They have lost 2 lanes of Rax though, so it's not like it's kind of game over, but if they win another fight like that, then who knows?
Well, we got a couple of these shards. We've got one on B-God, one on Sadman, one on Scourge. Most importantly, that hypothermia, very useful. Disruptor is holding on to one and gives it to B-God, so yeah.
All right.
But B-God already had it, so Disruptor actually used it himself. Thunderstrike.
Yeah, okay. So he will be able to get the move speed and the attack speed for his Drow. So that will be nice. You have to apply it pre-BKB though to her. So
yep.
Let's see how that does work out. But it just means that now that Scourge can walk around these team fights a little bit more. Oh, and no Sadman.
Nope. We got the fight starting early, but can they retaliate? Jubei already down. Oh, poor Centaur. There's not much he can do. Scourge McDuck, he's just watching his teammates die. At least they get the hold onto the Aegis for a little bit longer. Misses this silence there. Also hoping to get a connection onto the Ember Spirit, get some early damage, maybe even force out the potential BKB charge.
Yeah, you can just see what happens when they don't have the initiation that they want, right? Like Scourge just has to sit back and kind of just say, I'm going to go into Silver Edge and all right, everybody's dead. So it's a little too hard. Maybe they will try and defend their last line of racks and try and hold out. So maybe it might get to the point where this game is going to get ultra late and we might see a few more of these items come out for the Drow. He's close to a Lincoln Sphere.
This game was 6% in for the cut. With that one team fight went up to 13. And now it's back down again. Back down to 7. So it really didn't give them too much of hope, especially losing that lane of racks. But obviously, like, I think the win probability graph, like every time you lose some buildings and it doesn't really shift that much, it actually should shift potentially maybe even a bit more or maybe less. What do you think?
I'm not 100% sure with that. I think it's really kind of dependent on how these fights really pan out for both these two teams. So
yeah,
we'll have to see if
they caught the Drow actually. Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait, the Centaur goes in. Okay, this is the fight they want to take. Doom does get his BKB off at least. They will use Stampede as well. But look at the backline. Hoodwink already getting obliterated. They will lose Jubei. Supports are down. They're gone. There's nothing that they can now do. The damage isn't sufficient when they're all being controlled. Drow, multi-shot being used. No way to reposition anymore. They've got the Evoker in the river as well. And that should be pretty much game here as they've cleaned out almost everyone. Centaur on the run with his BKB. And Scourge McDuck surrounded by hostiles into the ice bath. GG Cole comes out from Jubei. We are going to a Game 3 in our first series here at the North American Division 2.
Hell yeah. Seems like CDUB have fixed some of the mistakes they had in game number 1. There were some glimpses of them kind of being a little bit overzealous, but it did fall back to a point where the cut, they only really had one kind of call that they had to worry about. The Invoker fell off a cliff when it came to the BKB, so they just didn't have the damage. They had a Centaur in their offlane as well, not a hero that's known for his damage. So once CDUB got their 3 BKBs on their 3 cores,